Okay, everybody, this is section 2.3. This is solving multi-step equations. So we've got a lot of different things going on here. Probably have you write some notes off to the side, but we're going to be looking at doing inverse operations. We're going to be looking at doing order of operations in backwards or reverse. We also want to do something called combining like terms. So that's this right here. Combining like terms is putting things together that are the same. So that might be variables. It might be constants. Constants, remember, are just numbers without a variable. So you've got to look for them, and they need to be on the same side of the equal sign. Okay, so there's a little thing I want you to remember. If you have, and I'll use this first one as an example, if you've got three terms on the same side of the equation, I need to combine them before I start doing the inverse operations or working PEMDAS backwards. Okay, so this is a mistake that kids make, and don't write this down. I'm just going to say it. What kids will do is they'll see this and they got to go, okay, I'm going to do that because we've been doing that the whole time. That's not combining like terms, okay? So that's a mistake I see. What we need to do is identify, do I have things that are the same? The 5x and the 2x are the same because they both have the variable of x. They both have a power of 1, which is stuff we look at later. But I can put these together, and I'm putting them together because, and the way I will, this is positive and this is positive, so I'm adding them together. So I'm going to get 7x minus 23 equals 5, okay? So that's combining like terms. There was no other constant here, okay? So I couldn't put anything together with the 23 yet, but I could put the x's together, okay? Now, once I've combined that, or I basically here I get down to two terms on one side and I have one term over here, now I can start doing a two-step equation. All right, so in this case, I look at my operations minus, that means I can do the inverse, which is to add. I do that to both sides. I'm going to get this 7x equals 28. And I can then go and divide both sides by 7. This is a multiplication. Remember, when a number and a variable are stuck together, that's been done by multiplication. Undoing multiplication is to divide, so I'm going to go ahead and divide by 7, and 28 divided by 7 gives me 4. Okay. The next example, once again, I've got three terms on this side, so that means I can put some stuff together. I'm going to look at the signs. I think I can put these two terms together, but this is a positive 3y, this is a negative 6y, so I'm going to need to basically subtract them. And the 6 is bigger than 3. The sign of the 6 is a negative sign. The difference between 6 and 3 is 3, so I'm going to get 3y. All right. I've got this negative 5. I could not put it together with anything else, so I'm going to rewrite it. And I get the negative 8 on the other side. Now I've got two terms left in my problem, so now I can start solving it. So in this case, there's my operation. I'm going to do its inverse, so I'm going to add to both sides. That's going to go away for me. So I'm going to get negative 3y equals negative 8 plus 5. The 8's bigger, so its sign was negative, so my answer is negative. The difference between 8 and 5 is 3. I can go ahead and divide now. Remember, this is multiplication. Divide by negative 3. And I get y is now positive 1. So please be careful with your signs on that one, okay? All right, what I'm going to do here on these two down here, I'm going to give you a time to just do this on your own. These problems are the ones they're exactly like the ones above it, so please use your notes if you get stuck to what do I do, and use that to kind of help you get through it. And then, so what I'll have you do is hit pause, do these two problems and then hit play, and then the solutions will be up there for you, okay? So go ahead, hit pause. I'm going to start doing these. We'll see each other when you're done. Okay, so I can go ahead and put these two together because they're both z, so 2 plus 4 is 6z. I have this 5, and it equals 9, okay? So my operation is to add. I'm going to subtract 5. I'm going to get, and that goes away. I get 6z equals now 4. And I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 6. So what happens here is when this goes away, I'm left with z equals 4 over 6. So some of you are going, I don't think I did it right, but if we did, yeah, you get fractions once in a while. So you can leave it like that, except only if you, I can leave it like that unless I can reduce it. 2 will go into both the top and the bottom, and so that gives me 2 over 3. Okay. The second question, I should be able to put those two guys together. That's going to give me 2r. I have this minus 3 left over, and it equals 11. I'm going to go ahead now and do the opposite of my sign. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. I get 2r now equals 14. This is multiplication, so I'm going to undo it by division, both sides. So divided by 2, that's going to go away. R equals 7. Okay. So yeah, you're going to get answers like that, but you know, I think you notice that this, after I put things together, like terms together, I'm getting a two-step equation like we did in the previous section. Okay. All right, here we got a little bit of distribution to do. So remember, I'm going to take the outside and multiply it to the inside. Be careful with your signs on this particular one. Negative 8 times 2x is negative 16x. Negative 8 times negative 1 is positive 8, and it equals 36. Okay, so now I've got a problem similar to what we just did. It's a two-step equation. Identify your operation, do its inverse. So I'm going to subtract 8. I'm going to go ahead and divide or get this down to 28. Divide both sides by negative 16. Okay. Once again, you're going to get, once in a while, you get fractions. Just part of what you got to do. So negative 28 over 16. I just got to see, can I reduce it? 4 can go into both the top and the bottom, so I get negative 7 over 4. Okay. All right. On this one, you know, we like to, you know, we're always kind of the variables on the left. If you want to go ahead and flip this around, let's just do it now so that we kind of stay on the same track. Once again, I want to multiply to everything inside. I get 2k minus 6, and that equals 8. So now we got a two-step problem. My operation is to subtract, so I'll add. Do the inverse to both sides. This goes away. I get 2k equals 14. And I can divide both sides by 2. Okay, it goes away. I get k equals 7. Okay. All right. So why don't you guys go ahead and try this one. These two, they're pretty similar to what we have. This second one is a little bit different, but remember how you're supposed to do them. It's a little out of order, but give that a shot. On these two, I believe that you get a fraction on one of these, not positive, but you know, just check your work, and if you get one, then try to reduce if you can. So why don't you go ahead and hit pause, do these two, and then I'll have the solution up when you hit play again, okay? Right, we're going to go ahead and distribute here and here. I get 12p plus 3, and that equals 27. Now I'm going to get the opposite operation here, so I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So I get 12p equals 24. I can divide both sides now by 12. And that goes away, p equals 2. Okay, here I'm going to distribute here and here. I get 10, but I get a minus 5x. And equals 15. Now this is where we got to be a little bit careful. Remember, I'm trying to solve for the x, so I got to get rid of everything else. So this number 10 right here is positive. I got to basically move it or get rid of it, however you want to say it. Since it's a positive 10, I'm going to subtract 10. Okay, so that's going to go away. I get negative 5x equals 15 minus 10 is 5. I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 5. That's going to go away and make positive x, but over here a positive and a negative is going to give me a negative answer, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. Okay, all right, so hopefully you got those two correct. Okay, so here now I've got variables on both sides of the equation. I like to be able to deal with the variables first, and we like to be able to we're going to kind of be doing the same thing, so let's kind of everybody agree. We're going to get the variables to the left, okay? And we're going to get the constants, remember, just regular old numbers, to the right. So let's just kind of agree that this is the way we're always going to do it, okay? Once in a while, we kind of get stuck and we can't, but if the variable's on the right and it's just the only variable there. But since I got them on both sides, let's try to move the variables to the left, and let's deal with them first. So I don't have, first thing I'm going to look for here on this first one is, do I have any like terms that I can put together? And I don't. So that's the first thing I got to look at. Then I want to move them to the left. So this 7r right here is a positive. So to undo it, or its inverse, is to subtract it. Okay, so 5r minus 7r is going to give me negative 2r. I'm going to bring that negative 3 down because I couldn't really do anything with it. These went away, and it left me with 9. Okay, now I'm back to a two-step equation, and I can solve this doing, you know, the PEMDAS backwards, or do the order of operations backwards. So this is a minus, so I want to add 3 to both sides. I get negative 2r equals 12. And then I want to divide by the negative 2, so make sure you bring the sign with it, okay? When I divide, that's really going to go away, but I'm left with a positive r. Over here, I got a positive divided by a negative, so my answer is going to be negative, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. Okay. All right. And this one, now I got a little bit of work on this second one up here. Whenever I see this, I got to think I got to distribute, so I'm going to go ahead and distribute. 2 times negative 3x is a negative 6x. 2 times negative 2 is a negative 4. And then over here I got negative 4x plus 4. Okay. So now I got variables both sides of the equal sign, so I want to move them to the left. I look at the variable first because that's what we want to deal with. It's a minus 4x, so I'm going to add 4x to both sides. That's going to give me a negative 2x minus 4 equals, remember those are going to go away, equals 4. Okay. Now I have, you know, basically my two-step equation, so I can go ahead and I'll look at this. That tells me to add 4, and I'm going to get negative 2x equals 8. And I can now divide by what's in front of the x. These are going to go away, but it's going to leave me with a positive x, and then I get a positive divided by a negative is a negative answer. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to have you guys do these two on your own. You know, once again, if you get a fraction, you get a fraction. Just see if you can reduce it. And, you know, make sure I go back to, when I get fractions, I go back and make sure I did it right. So check your work, see if you got it. So why don't you go ahead and hit pause and do these, and then hit play when you're done, and you can check out the solutions, okay? Okay, I'm identified that I have a negative here, or I'm sorry, I'm going to use a negative here to subtract the 4m because I want to get it to the left, so I'm going to subtract it from both sides. 2m minus 4m is a negative 2m. I'm going to bring down the 6. Those 4m's are going to go away. I'm left with 12. Okay, so now my two-step identify this. I'm going to use subtraction. I get negative 2m. These went away. 12 minus 6 is 6. And then I'm dividing now by what's in front of the variable, so it's a negative 2m. They go away, but it leaves it with positive m. And 6 divided by, or a positive divided by a negative is negative, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, so here on the left-hand side, I can't really do anything with it. There's no like terms to do anything, but I got to do this distribution. So negative 3 times g is negative 3g. Negative 3 times positive 7 is negative 21. Okay. So I want to move the g's to the left, so this is a subtraction sign. So I'm going to go ahead and add 3g to both sides. Okay. I'm going to get 5g minus 5 equals, these will go away, negative 21. Okay. I'm going to look at my problem, and the inverse of that is to add 5. Okay, I'm going to get 5g let's go away, equals negative 16. I'm going to divide by 5, and I get g equals negative 16 over 5. So I did get a fraction, but that's not reducible. Okay, all right. So a lot of different steps here. We're building and building and building, so we just got to make sure we're making using our notes and going back over that. Be really careful with your signs too. Okay. All right. So here we got some kind of complicated ones. All right. So we're really giving you a lot of notes here in this section, but there's so many different ways you can solve for you know, the variables that we got to make sure we kind of hit all the kind of different ones that will show up. Okay, first thing I want to do is, do I have like terms? Well, here on the left I don't, but here I first off I got 3 terms, so that should tell me, hey, you might be able to put something together, and I think I can put the x's together. Okay, so let's do that first. So I'm just going to rewrite the left side. I'm going to get the x, and x gives me 2x, and it's minus 6. Okay. Now I like to get the variables to the left, so that 2x is a positive 2x. So I'm going to do the inverse of that. It's negative 2x from both sides. Okay. So remember, 3 over 2 is really 1.5. So I'm kind of going 1.5 minus 2x. That gives me a negative half x. Okay, so I kind of did that for you. And I have this minus 4. These go away, and it equals 6. Okay, so now I look at this number, and I'm going to do the inverse of that. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. And I'll come over here now and rewrite it. Okay, these go away. I'm left with negative 1/2 x. 6 plus 4 is 10. Remember, this right here is multiplication, so I'm going to have to undo it by division. So I'm dividing by negative 1/2, but that means I have to flip it and multiply. Okay, flip it and multiply. So really, all I'm making that do is go away, but now it's a positive x. And 10 times negative 2 is negative 20. Okay. Okay, so we got x equals -20 on this one. So, that's a pretty good problem right there. I think most of us should be able to do that. We kind of agree that this last one, with the 2/3 stuff, it gets a little tough. So I'm just going to do this one with you. All right. So I got x on both sides. There was no, on this one, there's no like terms to put together. So I'm just going to do the opposite or the inverse. I'm going to subtract 2/3 x from both sides. Now remember, this is a 1x, but I could write the 1 as 3/3. So when I do that, I'm able to get 1/3 x minus that 5 because I couldn't do anything with it. And then this went away over here and I got 1. Okay. So now I got a two-step problem. I can go ahead and do the opposite of subtracting 5 is to add 5. That's going to go away. I'm left with 1/3 x. Over here I get 6. Right here, this is multiplication, so I'm going to undo it by division, but when I divide by fractions, I got to flip it and multiply. Okay, so that's just going to make all that go away. I'm left with the x over there, and 6 times 3 is 18. Okay, so we just kind of want to do that one with you. All right, so that was a lot of notes. Hopefully you got through them okay. Really important. You got to practice this pretty hard. Please make sure you do all the problems. Please make sure you ask for help. This is what you really have to be able to do, what we did here in these notes today. Okay, it's big time for you to be able to do it well. All right, let me know if you need any help. Thanks.